Hello everybody. As every day I am going to publish, if I can say publish actually, a live video, and I will read a thought by Omram Mikhail Ivanov from the book called Daily Meditations. This book has been translated in many languages. Actually mine is in Italian. You can find this book on the website of Prosveta, or Amazon usually has this book, and then I will put in the description of the video the link to find more information. Anyway, I'm reading these thoughts because I believe that behind just a few lines of words there is a lot of meaning, a lot of content that can help people to have a better quality of life, and also to be able to face a very challenging time, and not only. And also by reading these thoughts, by understanding, by grasping the juice that there is behind these words, at some point you can get that wisdom that can help you really to transcend even the illusion of reality and go even behind the illusion of death, which is something that many religions tried to do. And actually today, the thought of today is very, very deep. It's very tough, let's say, and I'm going to read it for you, and then I will comment it a little bit. And I just wanted to say that these thoughts that I read are part of larger conferences done years ago. The master Omram Mikhail Ivanov left the physical plane in the 1986, and all these conferences were improvised. And also I wanted to say that I'm also improvising, so I apologize in advance if I might say something that is not correct, but hopefully not. So, thought of today. When you wake up in the morning, you are born in the physical plane, but you die on the astral plane. And in the evening, when you go to sleep, you die on the physical plane, but you are born on the astral plane. Similarly, when a child comes into the world, it is born here, but it dies on the other side. It is welcomed here with songs and music, while its funeral procession is taking place on the other side. Conversely, when a person dies here, they are accompanied to the grave with the funeral march and the tears of black-clad mourners, while on the other side they are greeted with fanfares as those who receive them exclaim, "At last he has returned." Of course, if a person has behaved badly on earth, they will not receive such a warm welcome over there, just as children are not always met with great rejoicing by their parents here. But these are secondary details. The law is true. Life in one region is death in another. That which disappears here appears elsewhere, and vice versa. I'm going to read it another time because I think it's important to not to miss anything. There's a lot of things to reflect about. When you wake up in the morning, you are born in the physical plane, but you die on the astral plane. And in the evening, when you go to sleep, you die on the physical plane, but you are born on the astral plane. So, probably not all of you know what is the astral plane. If you are interested in esotericism, probably you heard about this word. Anyway, it's believed, also according to Hinduism, then Theosophy, and many other currents, esoteric traditions, or some other religious teachings, that the human body is composed by, let's say, 7 different layers. So according to these teachings, and also according to Omra Mikhail Ivanov, every human being is done by a physical level, then etherical level, which would be, let's say, the energetic layer around the body, and then we have an astral body. Astral body is connected to our basic emotions. Then we have a mental body, a causal body, Buddhic body, Atmic body. And I will need hours to explain all the bodies, but today we can just focus on the physical plane, which is actually what we can touch. This is very easy to understand. And the astral plane, it's yes connected to our emotion, but also it's connected to what we know, the world of dreams. If you know a bit about Kabbalah or the Sephirotic tree, actually the astral plane is connected to the Sephirot Yesod. And it's there where forms, let's say, they don't have proper shapes. It's the world of also the artist. It's the world of the creative thought. And actually, when we are going to sleep, we are entering this other plane, which is called the astral plane, and it is where we have dreams. So apparently, we are dying on the physical plane, but we are reborn on another side. And this is a cycle that repeats every day. And if you think about that, this is the same that happens in nature, you know. It's like there is a winter every year, and there is a night every day. And so there is an apparent death every year and every day with the night. And so we also apparently die every night to go on other levels. And actually, if you know a bit about neuropsychology, you know we have different phases during our sleep time. We have the REM status, the deep REM. And actually, it's yes, the body is not moving, but our cognitive system is moving a lot. So something is going on, but not on the physical plane. And also, I want to connect to this thought just to say that for average people not aware of where we go in the dream, you usually, let's say, in the dreams there are many things you can do. You can see again what you lived during the day, understanding some things that you didn't understand during the day or the past. You can have some intuition about the future. What else? Yeah, there could be also a re-elaboration of your thoughts. There could be also a travel into your deep subconscious. But if you are, and also what can happen, even if you are not aware of the importance of the dream moment, there could be also a sort of a virtual gym, let's say a virtual gym where you can practice and train something that in normal life could be very dangerous for you. So during dreaming time, you can actually be trained or you can face some challenge just helpful for your evolution and for your understanding. Something that if it happened in your physical life could have been really harmful. But if you are really aware of the power of this moment every night, you could actually take advantage of it. And before going to sleep, you could just spend some minutes in silence, concentrating, doing a sort of request to your, if you don't want to believe about angels or other entities or your soul or spirit, you can believe in the existence of your subconscious, and you can ask your inner mind, you can ask to consciously go and to sleep and to do a work in a way that can help you to improve, for example, or to learn things. So, for example, when I go to sleep, I consciously meditate on that, and I ask my higher self to teach me, to train me, and to give me intuition. Or if I have a problem to solve, I ask for the solution. And you know how your mind works. I usually do this example of the crosswords game. Sometimes you probably also experience that you don't remember just a word, but then after a while, sometimes even after hours, you get the answer. And that is because our brain is a sort of a computer. It keeps thinking about stuff. So if you if you make a question to yourself, even if you don't come with the answer straight away, then the answer might come later. And how powerful can be that if you do it consciously before going to sleep every night. So you request to yourself an answer. This is very powerful. Anyway, going back to the thoughts. So we apparently die on the physical plane and we go on the astral plane. And then he says, similarly, when a child comes into the world, it is born here, but it dies on the other side. It is welcomed here with songs and music, while its funeral procession is taking place on the other side. And on the contrary, when someone dies here, there is a funeral, people are sad, while on the other side, they are greeted with the fanfares. They're very happy and they say, oh, at last he has returned. So it's saying that at the same way we apparently die every night to go into another, the dream world called the so-called astral plane, when we actually die, we die on the physical plane, but our soul goes somewhere else. And where? I like to do some sort of analogies with science. And everybody knows that in nature nothing can be really destroyed, but everything is transformed. And also there is a law, for example, if you take the law of conservation of energy, it says that you cannot destroy, remove, cancel energy. It should go in some other places, but it cannot be absolutely removed from the existence. So how come that this work for everything in the universe and in nature and doesn't work for ourselves? No, this is not possible. And actually all the religions, all the teachings were talking about what we know as a reincarnation. And maybe some of you might argue, no, but Christians don't believe in reincarnation, but this is actually a mistake, and probably it was an error of, let's say, I don't want to go in details or if this was done on purpose or not, but if you take by yourself the Gospels and go to read them, you will definitely find information about reincarnation. Okay, it's all well known that Buddhists, Hinduists believe in that, but I can tell you that also for Christians there are many steps in the Gospels where it talks about that. For example, just in the beginning of the Gospels of Saint John, the Evangelist, there were the Roman soldier going and asking Saint John the Baptist if he was the Messiah, and then he said, no, it's not me, it's someone that came before me. So it was Jesus was older than was younger than Saint John the Baptist, but Saint John said that he was coming before him. But also there are other places in the Gospels where it's spoken about reincarnation. For example, when Saint John the Baptist was killed, they cut his head, and the disciples went to tell the story to Jesus, what happened to Jesus, and Jesus then said he was killed because he was Elijah, the prophet in a previous life, and as Elijah cut the head to other people, at the same way he was cut the head. Also in the Gospels, the law of karma is magnificently synthesized with a few words that say if you harm by sword, if you kill by sword, you will be killed by the sword. So definitely it's also in the Gospels it's spoken about the reincarnation, and it's actually a big pity that this was taken away. Why? Because, okay, what we are saying in this thought that death doesn't really exist. If you think about the contrary of death is not life. The contrary of death is birth. There is no contrary of the word life. The contrary of birth is death. So it means that life is always life. And this is what also the traditions were trying to teach us. And the Gospels, I'm taking in particular, I'm focusing a lot on the Gospels. Not because I don't recognize the other religions, I do recognize the other religions, the main ones, and most of also the less known others. But because I just know more the Gospels than I might know the Bhagavad Gita or other books from Islam and so on. And it's a pity that the true message of the Gospels was a bit deviated. And because imagine in the beginning when people just got the true message of those Gospels, where it was spoken about reincarnation, they weren't afraid of dying. And you know how many martyrs of the church there were in the first centuries. People were not afraid to be burnt or whatever. They could be tortured. And there are many saints, martyrs that I remember today. They were tortured and they weren't afraid at all. And because they got the real message of Jesus, the complete, the full, the original one message. And it's a pity that now we lost this message because we are afraid even of small things. And when we are afraid, as science, psychology, the basic psychology teaches, when you are in fear, you can be controlled very easily. With true fear, you can control anyone. This is the easiest way to control and manipulate someone. But imagine not to have any fear, not even the fear of death. Then you become completely, you can become really powerful. Nobody can touch you, or they can touch you, you don't care. So imagine all the humanity doing like that. It would be something amazing. And maybe one day we will refine the true meaning of these words, but not only on the mental side. We will not only understand this, but we will live this truth where there is the transcendency of death, to understanding that there is only life. Again, in these thoughts, there's so much then to say, also because it said here that when we die here, people are coming to our funeral and crying, and but on the other side are rejoicing. Why? It's because actually we are souls, and we are traveling through space and time, and there are probably, I say probably, other dimensions. There is a nice movie, actually is in French, but maybe it's translated also in English, that was called La Belle Verte, the nice green, maybe the translation in English. And there was this group of aliens on the planet, on another planet, and they were looking for volunteers to go on Earth. and nobody wanted to go on Earth, actually. And maybe, who knows, maybe also we came here, we were volunteers, who knows, or maybe we were obliged to come here as in a sort of prison, and we came here to pay our debts, our karmic debts. Or maybe this is just part of our evolution. Then at some point we will go to other planets. We don't know. This would be very, very big to discuss about. And but this is just to say that it's also good to know that I don't want to take this matter superficially, but if you really live this truth, then again, you don't live in fear. Also, when something happened to you or to some people close to you, you actually you might be sad on the selfish point of view, let's say, because you miss the person, but you will be happy because the soul, the spirit, gets free of this physical container. Let's say what else it's written here. Yeah. Life in one region is death. Life in one region is death, in another is okay. But these are secondary. The law is true. Life in one region is death in another. That which disappears here appears elsewhere, and vice versa. We were taught also by the church about a magic place called the paradise, the heaven. But if you think about, actually, imagine now take all the human population at this moment and bring them into heaven. Now tell me what will happen. I smile because imagine we bring the same stupid things that we are doing here, we bring them there, so we create a hell as well in this magic place called the heaven. That's why I don't believe in heaven as mentioned from the Roman Catholic Church. I like to do these experiments when I go out with friends in the nature, and I ask them to make silence outside and also inside, and to stay just there watching the trees and listening to the birds, and then asking them, what do you think? How do you think it is paradise? How do you think it is paradise? If you just stay in the nature, imagine this world without human beings. It's already, this is a paradise. So actually the paradise, it's a state of consciousness, and that's why we are reincarnating here in a way to arrive to that paradise, but it's not in any other place. It's already here, but we have to find it inside, and this is where we have to go. This is the direction. So I think I already spoke too much for today. I hope you enjoyed. You can find the next video tomorrow on Facebook again, or otherwise on Instagram and YouTube. Thanks for watching. Bye, 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 bye.